higher than the sky. Dreams so big, she's learning to fly. Family by her side, a twinkle in her eye. Building her empire, waving down goodbye. Pretty smart, and she's on a roll. Heart on fire, got an unshakable goal. Dreams of family, she's got the mix just right. Rising like the sun, burning so bright.
Hello and welcome to the Pretty Smart Business Podcast. I am your host, Sheena White. And on this podcast, we talk everything business and make it pretty smart. So today, my special guest is Dani Margeaux. And Dani is a spiritual guide, intuitive coach, and a teacher of the Akashic, hopefully I said that, records and Reiki, dedicated to helping others live in alignment with their soul's truth through a blend of grounded wisdom and cosmic insight. She empowers clients to release what no longer serves them and create a life full of deep fulfillment. Dani offers transformative tools and rituals guiding others to reconnect with their inner knowing and lead with purpose. Welcome, Dani Margeaux. Hello, Dani.
Hi.
Okay. So I will admit, I have no idea what an Akashic record is. So please stop. I'm like, sweet, let's learn some stuff. I don't even know what that is. Start at the beginning. What in the world is an Akashic record, and why is
Yes.
that important?
Yes. So the Akashic records are the records of all souls that ever existed, past, present, future. It is your soul's blueprint, like the map in which you were given in order to live your purpose and your mission here on earth. And it's such a beautiful tool and resource. And it's really about just going in within yourself to find that wisdom.
Okay. How do we that, because that sounds interesting. My soul's blueprint. I'm like, okay. How do we even begin to figure this out?
Right. So the reason why this is like so important is I started my business, my spiritual business, about 3 years ago, and 99% of the copy, the downloads, the inspiration, the social media content is actually downloaded, quote unquote, downloaded from this space, this Akashic Records. And it's how to go about it is just to really set an intention in order to access this. And so it's like you can do it like a prayer or just like a beautiful intention connecting to your heart and being intentional with wanting to bring in divine truth into this space. And so it's just a beautiful practice that I have been doing every morning in order to just see and read like the energy of my business and what the energy wants to do, what it wants to share. And that is really how I have cultivated and created my business into what I would define as successful.
Okay. So you said you started your business 3 years ago. So let's go back there. So what made you start this in this first place? Why were you like, okay, I'm going to teach people this?
Yes. So I was in the normal corporate 9 to 5, and I felt like I was providing and helping make the world a better place, but there was still something missing. And I felt like my life was pretty rich. I had a beautiful social life. I had relationship. I traveled to 20 countries before the age of 30. And
Oh,
I had
wow.
this
That's
like
exciting.
I had this beautiful corporate job. But there was this like deep down, this feeling that something was missing. And what I realized is I can't work for anyone else. I have to be my own boss, create my own hours, and really teach something that fulfills me. And really, that was spirituality for me, Reiki, Akashic Records, and helping specifically women get to the root of who they are. And so this started with really diving into all the conditioning, and 95% of what we are conditioned or our beliefs and thoughts are actually pre-programmed before the age of 7. And so it's really realizing at the age of 30, when I was moving through this spiritual awakening, personal development journey of who I really was. And that is what really led me into this more spiritual path. And I remember the point I was working in, I had switched jobs like every year. I started in sales, and then I went to property management, and then I was working for the city in finance. And I just thought career was what was going to bring me fulfillment. I just had to find the right one. And that is when I began learning about Reiki, which is energy healing and Akashic records. And that is when I realized I was doing readings as well as my 9 to 5. And it just got to the point that I couldn't go into work anymore. There was just like this block that I couldn't go in. And that's when I was like, I think it's time to start my own business. And that there's so much that goes into that, which is like a little
Mhm.
fear. I never taken a business class before in my life, and really stepping in out of my comfort zone, but in a place in which I knew was meant for me.
Yeah. I think that so many people think that they can't start a business, right? And so it becomes scary because they're like, who will pay me for this? I know I thought that a lot when I was getting into what I was, what I do now, financial coaching. I was like, I'm just helping friends. No one's going to pay me for this. But so you said you were doing readings on the side. Were you getting paid for those or were those just for fun?
They were just for fun. I did
Okay.
free readings. Yeah, similar to your journey with that.
When you started your business, did you still keep your job or did you just go full on in?
So I integrated it. So I went part-time and then started with 1 day a week for my business. And then it started getting more popular. And so then I went down to 2 days and then 3 days and then up to, I'm still actually at 1 day a week, like just supplemental, which I do have a feeling it's going to end in a couple months, but just really doing what felt safe for me financially as well as intuitively. And it was a beautiful process.
Yeah, I think that's a great story and thought for ladies who are listening. Is you don't like, I feel like people think it's one or the other, like they have to choose. Now I'm all about not choosing and having it all. So it's like, why not do both? So, like, when I first started mine, I took on my first couple clients and I had actually two other businesses. And those were like what was providing for me financially. And it was still scary because I was like, okay. And then, now this is all I do full time, nothing else, just full on into financial coaching. But it's one of those things where it can be super scary, but if you just give yourself the time and the space to move with it, it's not as scary.
Absolutely, I agree. And over time, like it just becomes natural. In the beginning, I was
Hmm.
YouTubing, like, how do I even create an LLC? How do I connect my business? Do I even need a credit card that's connected? All the back end things. And you just figure it out. And it's like, how do you trust yourself enough to be able to move through that? And I think that's where the Akashic Records comes in. And it helps show you like the map. And this is actually what you came here on earth to do. And so with that trust and that unseen support, it feels so much more with ease and flow.
Yeah. Have you ever done a reading for someone and whatever they were doing or thought they were doing was totally different than what their Akashic record said they should be?
You know what? Yes, and I will preface this that there's been several instances. So there's the person who's in the 9 to 5 and knows that there's something more or knows that this isn't for them, but they choose not to leave or choose not to explore other things. And so they're not on path. That's their choice. And then there's the other person who has been making moves and is taking classes and is learning different modalities or different things in order to expand themselves, but they're not where they're meant to be yet. And that's okay too, because like from 0 to 100, you don't have to be here right now. We have 100 years to live our purpose and mission and make our impact on this planet. And having a 5 to 10 year like integration period or where you're trying and just playing and exploring and learning will always help support a good foundation for the future and whatever you do and whatever you're meant to do later.
Hmm. Okay. So how does someone like start to work with you? Like, how does that work?
Yes. So I start with a reading. So if you have, oftentimes we will cover purpose, path, and then like mission or anything like that. And like where to really put your energy during the day. Oftentimes, when you don't create stillness, I've learned for myself, right? I prefer stillness within the day. I prefer time to meditate and not to go. And we go over all those things, how you are using your energy, how you are moving through the day, and giving you a informative like outline on how you could better support your practices and your rituals and your work throughout the day. And so the first entry point would be a reading. And then after that, I do have empowerment coaching as well that helps reprogram the subconscious in order to live a life more aligned to who you are, because all the conditioning, right? Fear of being seen, not feeling good enough, not feeling good enough to start a business, not feeling like maybe imposter syndrome, right? These are all human conditions that have been placed on us subconsciously or just through society. And so it's really breaking through those limitations in which you feel you're uncovering along the process. And it's so beautiful to find your way back to who you are and like an essence, which I believe is unconditional love.
I love it. Okay. And so you said reprogramming the subconscious mind. So how do you do that?
Yes. Okay. So this is the 3-step process in which I do it through my containers. The first is awareness. You need to know what the belief is. So one of mine for a while was I didn't feel like worthy of starting like a spiritual business. I didn't know anything about spirituality. I didn't know anything about energy, anything. And so I was like, who am I to start giving these readings? And so it's breaking through that. So awareness. Second is acceptance. Our body and our mind is so intelligent. And there's a reason why there's this fear or this conditioning is there. And so it's allowing that energy, allowing that conditioning to be there in your nervous system. And so there's different ways you can bring forgiveness about this, forgiving yourself for maybe inner child work, or maybe a memory might come up of like when you were a kid when someone told you like what you did wasn't good enough. And that's why now in life you move through that way, right? And so it's healing it at the root, accepting, that you did good, you did the best you could in those moments, and really surrendering to that. And then, of course, it's taking aligned action in order to make decisions, thoughts, and patterns in alignment with who you actually want to be. And this is a really great example. I had a client who drinking was like one of her issues. Like it was just a habit though. But she didn't realize it was a habit. She just would drink like every day almost, but it wasn't affecting her life, but it was starting to, right? Because she wanted
Gotcha.
to start her own business and she wanted to really be a leader in her industry. And instead of asking, oh, should I drink or should I not drink? The question became, who do I want to be? And does that person drink 1 drink, 3 drinks, 5 drinks? And when she was able to like view that perspective in that way, she was able to make aligned action and be like, you know what, actually, I still enjoy this. Like socially, I'm gonna drink like 1 drink, but then that's it. Because tomorrow I want to be productive and I want to create and I want to really put something out in the universe that's going to help make an impact for people. And so it's really, deciding that awareness, acceptance, and then aligned action.
I like it. What do you think has been your biggest struggle in getting your business off the ground?
Yes, a couple. The first that comes to mind is like not knowing at all how to start one, which you could YouTube it and all the beautiful things. But the second one is definitely finance, which I know this is like your background, where not feeling like you are going to be safe when you start your business, right? Where is that money
Mhm.
going to come from? Are you going to get clients? And so this is where I have began reprogramming, helping support my clients reprogram their subconscious that if they have a desire to do this and start the business, that they have to trust that the money will come from somewhere. And of course, we can have a plan where you save money first for a year and then you integrate it, right? You go part-time. There's all these beautiful different paths for you, but it's understanding that it will take time and having patience to do that.
Yeah. I think sometimes the money comes from different places, right? So, like when I went full time into financial coaching, the thing that allowed me to do that was I had exited 2 other businesses. And so I had some money and that kind of fueled. But then I just knew that it was what I was supposed to do. So I just was like confident and went out there and said, okay, this is who I am. I'd had clients before and had been doing it part-time. I already had like proof of concept, I guess. Is the best way to put it. So then moving into full-time, it wasn't as scary because it was just like, okay, now I just have to double up. But yeah, I think finance is one of the places that people feel the most like uncomfortable, you know?
Absolutely. Absolutely. Yeah. And something you said, you just had this like knowing, you just knew this was for you. And oftentimes, a lot of people, they have this curiosity or desire, but that deep knowing, they feel uncertain about it. And it's because they don't trust themselves. And so, this is something we work through with our clients to help them understand that they can trust themselves. They trust that this is what they want so that they can really be in that energy of, oh, I know. Like I know and I won't do anything else. And that's definitely how I felt when I started my business. Like I can't do anything else. This is it.
Yeah. So that's awesome that you help other people like find that same knowing. Okay. So you talked also about Reiki. And so I hear this word all the time. And I really, again, go back to I have no idea what it is. So tell me more about that and what exactly it is.
Yeah, absolutely. So Reiki is universal life force energy. It is divine energy. It is what we it comes from the basis root of that we are made of energy. We are made of stardust, right? And so this energy supports bringing harmony within our bodies. And when there is disharmony, that is oftentimes when our body can feel constricted or we are maybe are sick or stressed. And so Reiki just helps support bringing harmony back to the body. And it is so beautiful. The impact that I have seen through Reiki. I'll give you an example. I used to have really bad cramps and I would take ibuprofen like right away. And so through Reiki, and I've been experimenting with this for about 6 months. Instead of taking the ibuprofen, I've been giving my body Reiki. And now I don't get cramps. I support myself with this like energy healing. And so it's really understanding that we create our own reality. And it comes back to these beliefs, right? What do you believe in? Do you believe that you can be supportive by things outside of our, or things that can support us, divine support? And it's a beautiful modality.
I like it. So then are you, because I know there's like levels of Reiki, right? Okay, see what I know a little bit.
You got it. Yeah. So there's like levels 1 through master. And so I am a master and I also teach it to other beautiful souls who want to open up their channels and all the beautiful things. It stems a little bit in traditional Chinese medicine where we have meridians running through our energy body from the top of our head down to the base of our feet. And so this Reiki energy helps support clear these channels. And you might have heard the word chakras as well. It helps clear
Mhm.
these chakras, these points in which, in order to maybe transmute any energy that's not our highest good and activate these parts of us so we can really come into acceptance, forgiveness, compassion, and love for ourselves.
I love it. Okay. So I was just thinking on the Akashic Records thing. And so one of my friends, she does human design. Are
Yes.
they similar, different? I guess what's the difference?
Yes. So I'm not okay. So they are all different modalities that help support aligning your essence to like the divine truth, right? Or
Yeah.
cosmic universal truth. So human design was downloaded, I believe, in the 1970s by a gentleman, and it combines several different modalities. I know astrology is a part of it because the planets at the time you are born dictate a lot about your energy type. And so human
Hmm.
design, there's 5 different types. There's the reflectors, the generators, manifesting generators, manifestors, and generators. I think that was all of them. But it's all
Yeah.
about and projector. It's how you move through the world, right? So, for example, myself, I'm a manifesting generator. I can, if I'm in alignment with like my purpose, I can work like 14 hours a day and I have enough energy. Whereas a projector, they can only work 3 to 4 hours a day, but when they do, it's so potent. And so it's really understanding your energy type. Akashic Records is the spirit, it's accessing a vibration beyond the astral realm. It's accessing this, you can describe it as a cosmic library. That's how a lot of people conceptualize it, right? It looks like a library. And you go and you bring down this wisdom into this plane. And it's less structured, yet the amount of people I speak to about the Akashic Records discover the same things. And so it's a very truth, cosmic wisdom, divine, loving guidance, where human design is more structured, where there's like a layout of, because this planet was in this house at birth, this is who you are and this is what you're meant to do in this planet. Yeah.
I got you. Okay. So similar but different.
Yes.
Okay. Okay. Awesome. So, what would be like a top tip you have for other women who are thinking about starting a business or who are in their business and they're just like feeling like they're on the struggle bus?
Yes, just do it. You will mess up, you will make mistakes, but you will learn along the process. I actually have a best friend who started her business in 2016. She made the website and all the things, but she never created content. She never posted anything because she was too scared. Then I started, when was it? 3 years ago, right? 2022. Now I have what I would believe is a successful business. I have all the things, and she has yet started. And so it's, if you just go out there, you will figure it out.
Yeah. You made a good point there too. You said that she created the website and all these things. She got all the accoutrement, but she didn't ever actually do the business. So I've been reading this book. I'm obsessed with books
Same.
called Ready, Fire, Aim. Not sure I love it, but I do at this point where he was talking about that sales is everything, like, right? Like You can have all the big flashy things in the world, but if nobody's buying your product, nobody's buying what you're selling, you're going to run out of money pretty quick.
Absolutely. And something that the Akashic Records taught me, which this is so out there. So, of course, take what resonates and leave what doesn't. But a lot of people market, right? There's so many marketing sales techniques. What my spirit guides told me, they were like, go to the ocean and energetically call in your clients. And I was like, this is very weird, but okay, let me try it. And I kid you not, like when my first Reiki session came, I had 10 people coming from me, messaging me, asking, and ended up being in my container. And I do the work, or I do the strategy. I am posting on all the social media and reaching out and networking and all the beautiful things, but I am also doing this energetic work underneath, which I really feel like has supported my marketing.
Yes, it's not one or the other, but either direction, you made sales.
Yes.
And you have to, because that's
Yes.
like super important. Okay. What would you say is, if you could go back and change anything, what would you change?
Ooh, that's a beautiful question. What would I change? Well, you
And
know
the
what
answer
keeps
is allowed to be
Ye
nothing. So
yeah, no, I think I'm gonna say that because I think I needed to make every choice, every decision, every mistake in order to learn and be where I'm at now. And that's not to say I'm not gonna still make some, but having this like high level awareness and trusting that I am so divinely guided that whatever comes through is like meant to be, and trusting in that.
Mhm. Yeah, the reason I say that it can be nothing, because people have asked me this, because I'm a domestic violence survivor and all these things, and everyone's, oh my gosh, you would have to change everything. I'm like, no, I would actually change nothing, because yeah, some of it was not so fantastic, but at the end of the day, now I have a bigger message, and I feel like I can help more people, and I have a beautiful life now, and so it's, no, I wouldn't change it at
Yeah,
all.
and also how empowering that everything that you've experienced, you've made it to the top, and you've been able to transmute this and really utilize it to make an impact and support other people on this platform that you have. And so absolutely, I agree with that.
Yeah. Okay, so is there any like last words or words of wisdom you can give our viewers?
Yes, oh my goodness. You are more powerful than you think. And if you have this limiting belief that you aren't, you are being invited to discover that and uncover that and maybe see like where is that coming from and where has that shown up in my life. And when you can really get to that root of your sovereignty, I think that's when the magic happens.
I love it. Okay, so how can our viewers get in touch with you?
Yes. So I pretty much live on Instagram, but I also have a TikTok at I am Dani Margeaux, my website, www.iamdanimargeaux.com. And I'm also on YouTube. And I also have a wonderful podcast named Magic Exists if you're curious about any of this beautiful spiritual things.
I love it. Awesome. Thank you so much, Dani, for being with us today. And I'm super excited to learn more about Akashic Records.
Thank you so much for having me. It's been such an honor to co create this wonderful space with you, Sheena.
Yeah, thank you. And we'll talk soon.
Bye.